Alright. It's been a rough night. Dots, I love you. Happy Valentine's. That was actually yesterday, but you know. So, wife got me a for my plantar fasciitis. Sometimes my feet get a little sore. All this walking around barefoot is what I do. It causes me problems. Anyway, this episode wanted to cover paper. The paper. You know, when you first have this idea, you come up with something. You're like, oh, I better protect it. Somebody's gonna steal my idea. Sometimes it's the quickest way to smother an idea. I'm not for smothering ideas. I like to think that it's a good idea. It's not my only idea, but it's a good idea. So I want to be smart about it. What I recommend is you don't bet the farm, you don't have to spend a lot of money. Now what's called a provisional patent, you can put patent pending at the point you file this provisional patent. I spend usually $135 each. And that's me writing something up. So I download somebody's patent and I look at the format and the layout and the how things are broken down, and I create my own document that looks similar to that. I bundle it up, send it off. You can do it digitally. You'll get a letter back that says, hey, you're filed. Doesn't mean a whole lot, but it means you have this placeholder. Now I'm never too concerned about how descriptive the patent is, how well it's described. I'll put what I know about it at that time, and I'm trying to describe what I invented, what I'm doing with it, what it does, how it does. You don't have to literally have a full design sketched out. Maybe just put the criteria on what it does, what it solves, and how it's going to achieve that. Let's take this outside for a second. It's a beautiful day. It rained yesterday. It doesn't rain that often, so when it does rain, you might as well enjoy it. Just take off my socks. Is it important to protect something? Yeah. Up to the point that you can enforce it. But I'm just trying to point out that just because you have a patent, it really doesn't matter. It's how deep your pockets are versus how deep their pockets are. Because your lawyers are going to go to battle against their lawyers. There's going to be a lot of stupid stuff in between. The only reason I think that IP is good, patents are good, is when you're building a business, your intentions are to sell that business. Because if you're going to sell the business, they want the IP, they want the paper. So again, I put it on you to decide, be smart about it. Because I compartmentalize things, I break it down. And when I think about IP, the purpose of a patent is to protect your investment. Because who knows how much it's going to cost. You really don't. I mean, I used LegalZoom for my trademark. That's a trademark, not a big deal. It didn't pay a lot of money, but LegalZoom, it's a website, legalzoom.com. You know, that was a cost-effective way for me to get a trademark. Whether I would use LegalZoom to produce a patent that's effective and actually protects my product, because that's the other thing that, you know, that there's this mental game of, is your lawyer and the people doing your patent work, are they good at what they do, and are they going to do it correctly enough to actually protect your full investment? Because even if the patent's filed, if it's not inclusive enough, it's not deep enough, it doesn't cover the important aspects well enough, your protection's pretty slim. I'll get things started, I'll start talking to people, I'll start proving the concept. I never go to molds straight away, because you're going to spend money on a mold and then want a small tweak, and they'll be like, that's a new mold, and that gets spendy. So find stuff on the shelf. It doesn't have to look like the end product. Find stuff off the shelf that helps you do what you're trying to do. Prove it out. Figure out what you like and don't like and where the design's going. And the provisional gives you a year. Now that doesn't mean that your year is gone at the end of the year. It just means that at the end of the year you're going to file your provisional again if you're still working and not ready for a full patent. The only loss is that that's your new footprint. That's your new first to file timestamp. One thing that's really, really interesting, you go out and just browse the patent thing. I mean, that's really where we should start. When you think you have a good idea, you better go actually research it and see if there's something else that's like it. If 8 times out of 10 in the people that I've talked with, they're like, ooh, you know, it'd be a good idea. And I'm like, let's go look. And here's this and this and this. And they sell them and you can buy one. And it might not be exactly what they're after, but there's something right along in line with what they're trying to do. And it's so you might think you have a good idea, and it's just because you haven't seen it. Yeah, you haven't seen it on the market. Now, every good idea doesn't mean it's going to make it to the market. Every good idea has to never hit a wall. You can have a good idea and you hit that wall of the costs that are incurred, and you can't do the minimum quantity that needs to be ordered. You never get the order, or it comes and the quality is horrible and you can't put it on your shelf because it has to be recalled or whatever. It's tough. Don't be afraid of it. I mean, it's just reality. It's tough that a lot of products never make it to market that are really good ideas. Keep that in mind. They're solid. They're a good idea. They just haven't found the right money, the right market, the right distribution, the right whatever it might be. So, test the waters, you know. Look and see what's out there. See how unique your idea is. Figure out how big the market is. Is it just US-based market, worldwide market? You base your expenses on that, because I mean, if you're only going to get a little cheddar back, then don't spend a lot of cheddar up front. Get out there, test the waters, talk to some people at that point. You can sign non-disclosures. I know that I've talked to people and I've had things open-ended, and because I haven't used non-disclosures or been super adamant about making sure that they're in place and everybody signs one and deals with it. So you always have this little thing hanging out there of like, well, they haven't responded to me in forever. Are they just trying to run with it on their own? The answer usually is that they're that no, you're just a little bit not paranoid, but pushing the lines of being paranoid to like, what are they doing? Why won't they reply to me? People get busy. People, you know, they've got their own business, their own battle. So if they don't get back to you, not a big deal. But if you have that non-disclosure, at least you feel like you've got that little marker, a little more secure that after a year, if you haven't heard back from them, that they hopefully are walking away from it. Or you might, you know, have to reach out to them if you see that they bring product to market. Don't get ahead of yourself and just start filing patents. It's crazy talk. Provisional patents, which is fine. You can file it yourself. You don't have to go to a law firm to spend, you know, $1,500, $2,000. If you have that kind of money, feel free, go for it, but you don't have to. Spend that year of R&D, hit the pavement. You know, if you can come up with a working prototype and start pounding on, you know, not pounding on doors, but knocking doors, getting indoors, talking to people, see what the feedback is. People that have money and are willing to spend or might already be in the market and would be willing, and you propose maybe a licensing agreement, that's a great way to start off your entrepreneur lifestyle. Is don't be afraid of licenses either. So recap, protect your idea, just don't spend a lot of money. It's kind of the takeaway. These came into play, you know, years after the fact. I've kind of a base set up. I've filed probably 5-6 provisionals in between different things. These are the only two that really went full patent. It was pretty expensive. Whether it was worth it or not, I'm not sure yet. We'll find out. So this goes way back. This was a good idea. I haven't sold a lot of shirts, but I do have an intention of building a brand and hopefully being able to sell some shirts and some swag and have people wearing my stuff and putting their stickers all over everything. So yeah, some glue, those type of things. That would be cool. 10 times 10. Post some comments. Maybe I'll shoot out some free swag to the folks that participate. That'd be awesome. Anyway, that's the paper. Probably more to come. Make some comments. I'll answer your questions. Click here for the last DABizNiz episode. Click here for something cool. As always, subscribe. Comments and links are in the description below.